Okay.
Hey guys.
Things are getting rough around my house.
Whoa.
I'm like breaking finger. Look at that. It's like it's mending crooked. I don't like that. So I made a little finger condom out of a glove, and I don't like. See if I can get this. So I made a little finger condom out of the glove. Oh, sorry. What is going on?
What is happening?
That shouldn't happen. See if I can. Now. Okay. Now I got to do this. Oh, sorry. What's going on? Ugh.
We got an echo.
Okay. There we go. Is that better?
That is better.
Are we on the line?
We're on the line. Hold the line.
Got an echo.
Meow, 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 meow. See how that works? You can always get a meow, meow in there.
So, we're here for Rocky night. How about that?
Yeah, welcome to Go Game Go. It is Rocky movie night.
Ooh.
So what we want to know straight away is from all the millions of people that are watching and the millions that are texting in, what is your favorite Rocky movie?
Stuart,
and have you ever punched a piece of meat?
No, I have not punched a piece of meat.
I have.
I have.
Yeah?
Yes.
Hanging cattle just like that back when we were kids.
Was your entourage carrying a boombox playing Bill Conti?
That did not happen. My father wouldn't have known who Rocky or Bill Conti was.
Ah, sorry to hear that. Oh.
So, Stuart, what's your favorite Rocky?
My favorite is normally I would say probably 3. But I really love the first one because because Stallone wrote it and he was just feeling it. You know, I mean, it was just all there. It was like very, very passionate. And I still love the scene where he's in the pet shop and you can tell that he's just got this thing about, you know, ADRIAN, and he sees her beauty behind the glass. I'm just like that. I'm a romantic. So I just dig that he sees beyond what everybody else sees, you know. He just sees the kindness in her and the, you know, which is not seemingly not who he is. So it doesn't seem like, you know, it seems like people would go, what are they doing together?
Yeah.
You know? So, but I think the first one is probably, plus I will never, ever forget going to see the first one in the theater. And my buddy invited me to go. He goes, man, you want to go see a movie? I'm like, yeah, what are you going to see? And he goes, I want to see Rocky. I want to see that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So we go to the theater and it's getting to the fight scenes and I'm actually bobbing and weaving in the theater. I'll never forget that. It was so cool and so well done. I was like, just now and again, I'm like, whoa, what am I doing right now? I'm like so into this movie. Forget surround sound.
When did that come out? 76?
Hey, that worked. 76, yeah.
So I saw it when I was 8. And it's pretty funny, but as you know, we watched. I love the movie, love the ending.
Yeah.
Went to go see the second movie.
Yeah.
It starts off with the end of the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it moves in, and they start, and then you can. I realized that Rocky lost. I swear to God, I thought Rocky won the match in the first fight. Because if you're not, especially if you're in a theater, you can't really hear the announcer, and that's the only way you can tell. I mean, I think you could see Creed maybe jumping a little bit, but I really thought he won. So they started the movie. I'm like, how could they've made this mistake?
When you watch that though, like if you're not paying attention, you can't really tell. Like, and I thought the same thing, Jeff. I didn't know.
Is that weird? It was such an odd way to do it.
Yeah,
it's funny you said that. When you think of you, I kind of remember Creed doing a little hop and sort of one of those deals. But looking back, I guess I thought so too.
Well, see, because you don't really catch it, because I just checked that scene out today, oddly enough, and I just checked that scene out, and it's true. You're kind of waiting. He does the ADRIAN. She runs through the crowd, loses her little beanie, and then she makes it up to the up there on the ring, and then everything's going from there. And just like you said, Bar, when they announce it and they said that he won, then he does react like that. He kind of jumps off the ground. But the thing about it is there's people in front of him. So it's not like and that's another thing I liked about that movie, is because they zeroed in on what was important, and they didn't, and which means sometimes you back out a little bit and you don't always put the focus on the one thing. Like, oh, great, he found out he won. Get the cameras on Apollo. Here we go. And jump, and it was like the real deal. Like, you're a spectator and you have to look through these people to see Apollo Creed going, yeah. So it was really, and it was well directed. And also, next time you watch that first one, especially, check the camera angles, because whenever they show some of the scenes where they show him in the apartment, they're shooting from down and up because Stallone's not that tall.
Yeah.
He's like 5'6" or something.
And you got to think about Talia Shire must be really short if that's the case.
I thought it was funny too when they said it was a split decision, and then they gave the numbers, and then they said Creed won the first what do you call it?
Yeah. First judge.
Yeah, he got all excited. I'm thinking, well, it's a split decision, so you're going to win one of the first two judges.
Yeah.
It's only the third one that even matters. So it's funny he got all excited about the first one. I was like, what?
Which way are they going to do it? They're going to read the one first and then the build up, or 1, 1, 1, or what are they going to do, right? The only thing they're not going to do is go 1, 2, 1, because it's too anticlimactic.
We have a
Bar. What was your favorite Rocky?
I kind of like 2, frankly. I don't know why. I guess because Creed sort of turned into his buddy or whatever. And
yeah,
that was a good twist, I thought, because God, you hated that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's just arrogant, man.
Especially the first movie when he came out.
Yeah. Oh man, I did not want to like that guy.
Yeah.
It kind of turned it around. I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool twist on that.
Yeah.
You guys notice the sound effects in those movies when they're fighting?
Yeah, it
was like kind of really quiet. They got a little bit louder, and by 3, it was full on like.
Yeah. Slapping aside
you further in.
Love him. Yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
The audio focus.
Pete, what's your favorite Rocky?
I love the early ones so much, right up through 5 I didn't care for a whole lot, but there's things about the first 3 that I love, and I'm probably going to rule out, if one by one I'd have to rule out number 2 is not it, because I didn't see it that much at the time, and then that leaves 3 and 4, and 4 is nowhere near as good of a movie, but it still was a good bump up film, and it sort of carried on with what the other ones started. Took it to a next level, and it still made you feel, like great at the end. So that narrows it down to 1 and 3, and they both have very distinct things about them. And now, after having watched each of them 10 times or more, I have to say 1 really is. It is the best movie, and it is my favorite because it's the ultimate underdog story, and it really it's just a feel-good movie. It's the ups and downs, and overcoming. The going from nowhere and having nothing to having everything right there, having that brass ring in front of you and reaching out, grabbing on and taking your best shot going and showing what he could go with it. 3 was fantastic because I love the action and stuff in it, and it was just well done.
Right.
Also gave us that great statue that's in Philly right now. But the thing is, I can still remember seeing 1 for the very first time, and I watched it I don't know what year it was, but it was well after the fact. It had won Best Picture. I didn't go to the theater a whole lot when I was a kid. There was one small one in town. But I saw it on television, and I still remember watching it. And for a 10-year-old or whatever I was, to sit down and watch like a movie that's not action and not a kid's movie, but it just sort of entranced me the whole time. And it still does to this day, right down to the time I watched it on Monday this week. And I enjoyed every friggin' second of it as much, if not more, than I did back in the day. So after the 10th time. And it also did two things, the most notorious two things that the Rocky one started, and then each other Rocky movie built onto it, is, first of all, in my mind, they totally and completely ruined boxing, the sport of boxing, for everybody, because there's no way that a real boxing match could live up to the battles they had in those. And two, if you go pay for a pay-per-view right now, you're going to be let down if you're thinking it's going to be Clubber Lang versus Rocky Balboa. But anyway, number two is the montage. It introduced the most fantastic montage clips in the history of cinema. So I love those clips. Anyway, sorry, it went on too long, but
no, that was fine.
Not at all.
there's so many things about them that I love, and there's so many things about 3, especially, and 4 a bit, and about 1 is just a masterful movie. It's even the underdog story. The creation of the film is even an underdog story. You have a nobody. Sylvester Stallone has his story that he's created, and he goes from nothing. I mean, making, what is it, studding Kitty at the whatever party and Death Race 2000, to all of a sudden being the writer and director of the award winner for Best Picture in 1976. So that is as much of an underdog story as the story of Rocky himself.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Wrote and directed the first one.
Yeah.
Well, did he didn't direct the first one?
Oh, he just wrote it?
I think he
wrote
did.
it.
I'm going to double check that one, but I'm thinking that he did direct it.
John
No, it was-
Everton.
It was John Abbottson. Because I was looking for that when I was checking it out today. I'm like, I want to know who who directed it, because I was like, did he direct it too? And no, he didn't.
John Abbottson. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, but anyway, still, it was his baby.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Writer in there. Yeah.
I love the first 3. Do you guys hear that echo?
I
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
I'm not hearing it.
Hello.
Thunderlips.
Yeah, I love all 3, but speaking of Thunderlips, the Rocky 3 is my favorite. I used to think 1, and then after watching 2 a lot, I was like, well, that one. I'll tell you what. When I want to watch Rocky fight, I put in 3.
Yeah.
Every time. I've probably seen Rocky 3 more than any of them. It just, the first 2 movies, were similar. You've got a long story that builds up to the fight.
Yeah.
But then Rocky 3 was, you've got the wrestling match.
Oh, yeah.
Then you've got against Clubber Lang where he loses, and you have against Clubber Lang where he wins. So you get 3 different fight scenes in it.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit goofier than the first 2. But I just really like it. That's the one I always put on to watch if I'm going to watch one. And I just so wait, when did that come out? That was 82?
It was 82 or 83.
82.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan wasn't
True.
he wasn't a household name at that point. Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the what's your who is your, outside of Rocky, who is your favorite character in, let's say, the first movie? Or who is your least favorite?
Oh, God. It's got to be Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey's pretty funny.
Mickey's your favorite?
Burgess Smithers is just, my God. He was so legend.
I wish he would have.
I loved everything he did.
You wish he what?
I wish he would have been the Penguin in that movie. It would have been hilarious.
I loved him as a Penguin.
No. He's got to be that guy from the Santa Claus the movie. What was he, like, the main elf guy that came out? he'd have that huge beard coming down the aisle with Rocky. They'd just be carrying it on either side. And he'd be coming down with his long little fingers going,
I'll tell you.
Him and when he was in that, what was it, Dirty Old Men, or with Walter Matthau and
Grumpy Old Men.
Grumpy Old Men? My God, that's a comic genius right there.
But we talked about that the other day. Did you see the end credits when Burgess Meredith just kept doing the same?
He kept riffing on that same. Yeah. Oh my
God, that was great.
I could watch it 100 times.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
So it looks like we have Rocky was 1976.
Yeah.
Rocky 2 was 79.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky 3 was 82. 4 was 85. And then 5 was 1990. Rocky Balboa was 2006. Creed was 2015. And Creed 2 was 2018.
wow.
Is anyone not fan of Rocky 5 as their worst Rocky?
Well, but now,
That's
okay,
my least favorite by far.
so hang with me here. How did the Star Trek series go? Well, but see, that doesn't work because Rocky, the first one, was magnificent. Star Trek motion picture was shite. So, but still, right, Pete? Did you like it?
What? Which one?
No, the first Star Trek.
5? Oh, the first Star Trek movie? Yeah, I liked it. I've watched it a few times. I don't consider it certainly not the most exciting thing in the world.
Right.
But did I like it? Yes, I liked it. I mean,
so you had Star Trek.
I have it.
Star Trek 2. It had what?
I have it is all. I have the movie.
Oh, you have it.
Oh, yeah.
So you had Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4, and then what happened?
Downhill from there.
Shatner directed, and it was very ungood. So isn't that strange? Those are two franchises that did pretty good. I mean, a lot of people went to go see Star Trek. They may not have liked it, but a lot of people went because it was the first one. And you're like, ooh, Star Trek on the big screen. Here it comes, original cast. And you're like, this is great. So it was popular for that fact.
Oh, Lance, what are you doing to us?
Lance is stirring up trouble.
I aim to misbehave. Well, let's see. What was one of my favorite characters in that? I still really get a kick out of watching Creed, his trainer. That guy is, he gets so passionate in those later films as he's working with Rocky and all that stuff. And especially in that fourth movie, he was just, those moments where they're like sweating and spitting and, they don't even care what's going on, like the King of England. And
I think it was with Rocky
Hamilton.
3 when Paulie was in his corner and they squirted a bunch of water in Rocky's mouth and they swished it around. He just turned and spit and it went all over Paulie. It was great.
Paulie is, oh man, what an obnoxious character that guy is.
Oh, I know. There's nothing to like about him.
I mean, that first movie when Adrian's grabbing, he goes off with the baseball bat, smashes stuff. I didn't get married because of you. I didn't, and she's like, what the boop? She goes over, she grabs him, throws him down, and she's like, I cooked for you. I cleaned for you.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I got a kick out of that. A great line in Creed because I just watched Creed. For this, and I haven't even finished it yet. I love it, but the best line in it that I saw so far is he brings Adonis in to live in the apartment. He says, "This is Paulie's room." Oh, who was that? He said, "He was my best friend. Wasn't very friendly, but he was my best friend."
Oh man. And he throws her turkey outside so they'll go out on a date. You're like, man, that guy's a dick.
Oh yeah.
And he's like just this I don't know.
And he was an ingrate.
I also like the scene in the first one. I mean, I have a billion favorite scenes in the first one, but when the guys, the kind of the mob guys come in, and they give him a ride, and of course the driver's being a complete ass.
Yeah.
He's just telling him how horrible, whatever, Rocky, you doing this, blah blah blah. He's always poking at it.
Did you get the license plate number of the truck? What truck? The one that ran over your face.
That's the first one he throws out. Yeah. And and then the guy takes him over to the fence and they're talking and he's like, why didn't you break the guy's thumb? Well, I was just thinking, like, if I break his thumb, then like he gets laid off and then he can't make the money, then we don't get paid. So I'm like, that's really good logic. And he's like, next time, just break the finger.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you serious with me right now? A guy can't work if he's got a broken finger.
That's right.
Yeah, I had to watch Rocky Balboa before the show tonight just because I saw it once and I liked it, and I couldn't remember a thing about it. I was like, so I rewatched it.
Yeah,
and it wasn't quite as good as I remembered the first time around, but I still liked it.
Okay.
Well, but much better than 5. Put it that way.
Oh wow.
But his son in those movies, I just can't stand his son.
Yeah,
I mean, his son, in Rocky Balboa, he was an adult, and it's like, my dad's famous. I'm not as good as my dad. It's like, just grow up, kid. You're like 30.
And they deal with things later on too. Like they deal with what happened in the early movies and the later movies. Like again in Creed, I noticed today the picture of him and his son, and Donis there asked them, "Who's that? Is that your kid?" He goes, "Yeah." Well, where's he? Is he around here? No, he got married and they moved up to Vancouver and they're happy up there, so I'm happy for them. He says I talk to him once in a while, but it dealt with it, right? It dealt with it. It doesn't just let anything drop off the table, which so many franchises do. So I think that's commendable for a show like that. I shared something there with you, Jeff. If you saw it, if you see it down below.
Oh, look at this! That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's Too Many Games in 2016.
Oh, wow.
Jerps 93 and myself, and that's Connor beside me, and Jarrett Morgan, buddy. Jarrett actually lives right there in up around Allentown, Quakertown. So
wow.
So he took us around when we get down there. Saw the Rocky statue, which was probably the one thing that I most wanted to see. People, the Liberty Bell. No, I want to see the Rocky statue. Thanks, and go up the stairs. Yeah, for sure.
So where is that located? It's not.
It's the Museum of History, or that museum. It's I guess a big long story because of course they have it up on the main plateau at the top of the stairs in Rocky 3 when they unveil it.
Right.
But the organization itself, the museum, didn't. That's a faux pas. They can't have a thing like that. That's modern day fictional culture. We can't have that on our site. So it went somewhere away out by the Spectrum, I think, in Philly, for a while. And then they tore down, of course, the Spectrum and built a new arena. And they wanted to bring it back. And anyway, long story short, they reached a deal that it's not up in the front where it used to be, but it's at the base of the stairs off to the right. And there's they built a little park so you can go in and go around it and stuff. But that's the original building, like where he runs up the stairs. It's in the background there. So it's actually very easy to find in Philly, and it's an amazing view off those stairs of the entire city. So
in Rocky Balboa, they mentioned that they moved the statue, like they got rid of it.
Yeah.
In the movie thing. But what did they explain that in the 5th movie? Because I don't ever remember them talking about them moving the statue.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember them doing that. I remember that happening. Because that's why when I saw that picture, I was like, well, wait a minute. Oh, they moved it to there. Because I remember them moving it, getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find the whole story of it online, but it went outside the Spectrum for a while, and then it moved from there, and it was in storage for years, I think. But now today, it is right there beside the original spot where beside the stairs, because you go there at any given moment and there's 40 people running up and down those stairs to this day. 40,
Wow.
34 years later, right? No, 44 years later. It's infamous for that, and I don't think the museum doesn't want to be known as the place that Rocky ran up the stairs. They want to be known for what they are. Is sort of my understanding. The board of directors sort of looked down upon the Rocky statue, but they eventually agreed and let it be there.
You're like, it's a piece of art based on a piece of art.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So what you're saying is that you don't believe that film work is art, and you don't believe sculpture is art. I just think that's...
No, I agree with you 100%. I know what you're saying. I think it should be there, and ultimately it is now. So
I mean,
maybe they're jealous because people actually want to see it.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's actually it right there, Jeff.
You're grumpy old man. Stay off our stairs, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Get that statue off my lawn stairs.
There's too many people here. Not used to
This
it.
is a museum of culture.
That's right.
Need your typer on.
We don't like pop art. Well, I mean, we do.
I had to laugh.
We do, but
It has to be from this time frame, not now.
Lance mentioned worst Rocky opponent, and I was just thinking about that when I was watching Rocky Balboa. I'm like, Mason the Line Dixon. First of all, the worst name of all time. I didn't even believe him as he didn't even look imposing. I don't know. He didn't look very tough. He was kind of flabby, and he was too young to be flabby. Like, Clubber Lang, Apollo Creed, Ivan Drago, all of them were just, they looked like it would just kill you.
Yeah.
Guy, I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah.
Especially to that nth degree that Mr. T did Clubber Lang. You're just like, shit,
I don't know who came up with that name, Mason the Line Dixon, but they shouldn't be allowed to write anything anymore.
Probably the same guy who wrote Rise of Skywalker.
The Line. What a scary nickname that is for a boxer.
Yeah, the Line.
You're walking it.
You mean the lion? No, the line. So not lion. Line. Yeah, that's intimidating.
Yeah.
Damn. You're right. Lion wouldn't have been a good choice.
Paulie, Burt Young, I didn't know he was a pro boxer.
Oh, really?
Really? Burt Young was a boxer?
No, yeah. Well, he's in the Marine Corps and he boxed in the Marine Corps. 132 at 34. I'm looking on Wikipedia, and it said he turned pro and compiled a 17-0 record.
Holy cow.
I was going to say they based Rocky off of him, but it sounds like he's too good for Rocky. Rocky's record was actually kind of bad.
Yeah, 26 and 17 or something like that when the movie started.
That is way too good.
Oh, man.
So you look at that and you think about the age of all these guys, and I always sort of looked at that like, oh, Paulie's an old guy, but here Burt Young is. I think he's still with us, still alive. 87. Like he was born in 1940. Man, he wasn't all that old. He looked a lot older than he was in those movies.
He was 36 and during Rocky. That's crazy.
Yeah,
he
looked old then.
Yeah,
I know. He had those.
Not that's old. I'm 57.
How old was Stallone in Rocky Balboa?
Well, Stallone was born when?
Don't let me down, Wikipedia.
46. So he was 50. No, 60. 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was in damn good shape for 60, I'll tell you that.
Oh.
Damn right.
So that will put him at what, 74, 75 now?
Oh, yeah. I just was looking at it.
Well, 46, 54, 74, be 75 this year.
Yep. July 6th. He's got a birthday coming. course, so do I.
Only 75. He's got one more good movie in him. He can make another comeback, I think.
Oh, Rocky.
You know, talking about Rocky movies, like I liked the last Rambo.
No, you did not.
Oh yeah, that was great.
No, it was not.
Yeah, it was. It was wonderful.
No, it was terrible.
Oh, thank you, Stu, for making me feel better about my decision.
You got it. I
You
love
just-
you, man. I love you. Where are you? I love you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. I know good movies, and you like crappy movies.
There you go.
That's not the nicest thing I could have ever said to you. That goes outside of friendship. I'll apologize. That was me. But no, that movie was crap. In my book. And why?
Why?
Why? What movie were we even talking about?
Last Rambo.
That's what I said, Last Rambo. Because they didn't even answer anything. Has anybody else seen it? Let's give somebody else
I didn't see
a
it.
chance to
I
chime
haven't
in.
seen it.
Anybody else see The Last Rambo? Last Blood?
It was
I did
just
not.
mindless action. Yeah,
But
it was quality wise. No, it wasn't, but it was entertaining for an hour and a half. I don't really want to go watch it again. Like Rocky, I could watch it again and again and again.
So what do you think, though, when you get to an end of the film like that? And what's your thoughts in your head, though, about how it ended? Or do you not even care about that?
It all is, you know, one of two things are going to happen. Either I want to see these people more, or okay, that's good enough. You know, enough of that. And that is
Okay.
enough of that. I didn't want to see it again. But for the hour and a half that I watched it, it was all right.
Okay.
You know, but
That's fine.
that's sort of like I would watch Star Trek 5, Rocky 5, some of the worst ones going. I've watched them, and I've watched Star Trek 5 probably 2 or 3 times, just at different times, different sections of it. Maybe
Yeah.
put all together. And I still like the movie because I like the characters. It's not the best setting for them. I'd rather watch other things. But I just would take all I can get of those characters because I really do like the characters. And the Rocky characters are very much like that as well. I like those characters for the most part, with some notable exceptions. The Rocky character himself is likable enough and a positive enough influence that I could watch those movies just for him. Even though there's not really a whole lot of supporting characters I like that much in those movies. I like we talked about who's your next favorite character. For me, it's probably Apollo Creed. If it's not Mickey, it's Apollo.
Yeah. I was going to mention that, too, because it's kind of – because, I mean, he was just so colorful in that movie.
Yes.
In those movies.
Yeah.
You know, is he in 4 of them?
He's in the first 4, yeah. And then, you know,
So-
little bits and other ones where he's Creed's father, but
Right.
yeah,
Right.
but
But I just thought he was great. And then, you know, and then I see him in Predator, you know, and
yes.
and eventually then you see him in
Happy
Gilmore. You know, what a great place for him on that. I mean,
Yeah.
that was
But he was very believable as a boxing champion. Extremely believable.
Oh, I thought so. I thought he was.
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know who he was at the time, but I just assumed he had some kind of boxing background because he looked good in the ring.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I have to make so that means I
that's
can't
hard.
drink it yet if I'm doing the perfect pour. You can't drink it. It's got to set. That's why if you order a Guinness at a bar and you get it in like 2 or 3 minutes, you know it's not right. Because the perfect
said it.
pour takes longer than that. You got to let it rest. You're supposed to pour like 2/3 of it first, and then you let it rest for a couple of minutes, and then you put the rest of it on.
I think this question from Lance is kind of funny. Rocky Balboa or Tony Banta from Taxi, who had a better fighting record? You know, Rocky was, you know, adding this up real quick. I think he was 3-2 in his own movies, not counting the 5th one, that fight.
Yeah.
So he didn't have that great of a record even in his own movies.
I wonder.
Wait. I forgot about Rocky Balboa. So he was, yeah. He was 3-3
Wow.
in his matches. It's kind of interesting.
So I wonder, better record, Tony, Banta, or Rocky. See if it tells me.
Here's a good question for you.
It says the contender host Tony Danza explains why he's better than Sylvester Stallone. Wow. Wow. Y'all can read that later.
I'll pipe in on this. Eye of the Tiger. It was an iconic song at the time, man. It was huge.
Oh
yeah. I'd be interested to know which one sold more, whether that one sold more, or if the one, the following one for Rocky IV sold more, because it had multiple hits on it.
Yeah.
I played. How many songs from that soundtrack did I play? 2 or 3. Because I did Robert Tepper, the one where he takes off in his car before the race, and 4. And then what was it? Oh, and I played James Brown on the radio. That was a hit. So yeah, let me see if we can find out the Rocky. Was there any other? There weren't any other big songs on that Rocky 3.
No, I don't think so.
I should know that off the bat, right off the top of my head.
Not that I can think of.
No. I mean, the only other thing that probably charted from them, was Gonna Fly Now.
Yeah.
Which I think charted in 76.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. It had, yeah. Yeah, Rocky IV, they had, I forgot about Burning Heart by Survivor.
I think that's the other one he listed with Eye of the Tiger. Was that Burning Desire? Yeah. Burning Heart. Yeah, that's what JD mentioned. And who wrote the book? Well, Survivor, yeah.
Good. Yeah, I played 3 songs from that soundtrack on the radio.
Okay.
And it looks like they even put Eye of the Tiger on there too.
I was watching the end credits of Rocky Balboa, and I saw Sylvester Stallone's brother was in that one.
Yeah,
Frank Stallone. Was he in all the movies? Like
I saw him in the credits of all the ones I watched this weekend, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure that out. I thought he was on that street singing group maybe in the first one, but
yeah,
but I didn't recognize anybody in that crowd today as him.
Yeah, but he's credited in there as being one of them.
He's the Clint Howard of Rocky.
Yes, very good point.
Clint Howard.
Throw him in there somewhere.
And that was before Frank got tied into Staying Alive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Clint was following Ron Howard around all the way back when he was like 3 years old on the show. Remember, he was Leon. He always had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in his hand. I don't think he said a single word. He was just like standing there like a little kid.
That's awesome.
Dude had a face for radio, man. He should have.
Oh man!
I feel I knew then that the rest of his life he'd be doing bit parts in his brother's movies. Must be nice to have a brother.
He probably
have a brother that can put you in all his movies. He was also the serial killer in Seinfeld.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's
and he escaped, and he was still.
He just walked away because the cops
walked away.
Oh man! Did we already do this? Am I far behind?
Rocky Balboa versus John Rambo.
Oof.
Yeah, Living in America. You guys know that song? You remember?
Oh
it?
Yeah.
Of course, because it's the whole scene where he's before he dies.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I always like that one. There's that one part where James is scatting through the song and he goes, "And a hard roll." He's just listing off things. And hard roll. It's just like, all right. Okay. First time a hard roll ever got to be cool. So what are you on the plate? I'm the hard roll. Oh, geez, sorry.
That's
Mr.
right, Lance.
Hardroll.
Living with a Hernia is a great song. Much better than the original, in my mind. That's the way to go right there.
Sweet.
Puts a new meaning to the term. Ow!
I've lived through a hernia. And I can tell you, it was no fun. It was
It was
terrible.
no-
Yeah,
fun.
no,
There
it's
you go.
not.
Ugh.
It's not. It is not. I had something else in mind too. So which part was the best montage of those? Let's just stick with the first 4 movies.
Rule out number 2, because I usually do. I would say I really do like the one from number 4, to be quite honest, when he's training and ends up in the mountaintop at the end. That's my favorite montage. But it's so, by then they perfected it, man. They went over the top.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to agree with that one.
Yeah. Plus he was like hoofing huge organic things or things that he would just find, Yeah. So all of his training's out in the snow and he's doing all the. What was the song during that? Was that Burning Heart?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Trying to remember when that was. Because that was
Which Rocky had it where he went, like the first one where he was jogging around the neighborhood and all the little kids started following him, like, Pied Piper. Number 2?
Yeah.
What? That was 2? I thought it was 1, but it's 2.
One he runs around the neighborhood, but by 2, of course, they all know him.
Yeah.
If 1, he runs around, he starts his training, he runs around, he barely makes it to the top of the stairs, and then things happen, he gets training, blah 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 blah. And then it's a self discovery, and he runs up the stairs himself and is cheering to the top. And then in 2, he basically does the same thing, except for when he finally gets going full bore, and he runs through, all the kids start chasing him, he runs up the stairs, and all the kids are around him. So that's in 2.
That's one of those scenes that I really watch. I don't watch him. I'm watching everybody around going, who's going to look at the camera or who's going to, who's going to smile like, yeah, I'm in a movie.
I thought I was the only one that looked at that. I always look at that.
No.
I always look for somebody just going to glance over and nobody caught it.
Yeah. Hey,
which Star Wars movie did they do that? Episode 1. Check it out. Isn't that the one where Queen Amidala comes down, they land in the ship, and then they're talking about, and do they have to take off again or something? But when they stop, there's 2 attendants that come in. And one of them doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
He's somebody's nephew, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
when they're done, this guy turns and leaves. This guy does one of these. So he's like, yeah, and you're like, don't look at me. I'm not here.
Was that
Man, you just blew the movie for me. And that was like the first 5 minutes.
Was that the first movie in the second trilogy?
Yes, episode 1.
I thought that movie was just god awful. I almost walked out.
She was not directed well at all. I like her. I like Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Oh, she was terrible. I mean, nobody could act in that movie. I don't know what happened. It was almost like the instruction was pretend like you've never acted before in your life. And they nailed it.
Yes.
I went to see it twice.
Oh, I've seen it more than once.
No, I went to the
better.
theater that week it opened to see it twice.
Or better yet,
Not at the theater, but I have seen it more than once.
it's like asking a bunch of not so trained actors, hey, or just people, and you're like, hey, you want to be in the play? No. Well, you're in it. Go. We're gonna call it Star Wars Episode 1. Here we go. And action. And Bobby. Yeah, Bobby, make sure you look at the camera before you turn and leave. Nope, Steve, not you. Not you. Just Bobby. Okay, got it? Action.
You guys are awfully hard on my favorite movies.
Uh,
Well, I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I don't have a whole lot of good things to say.
well, I mean, when I get done with the movie, I want to. I'm not the most clever person all the time, so there's a lot of times I'll have discussion with people about movies afterwards.
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh man, and how about that one that they alluded to that one thing?" Or I'm like, "Why do they do that?" Well, because they had to do that because of this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I don't know why I didn't catch that." You know, I'm like, "Why didn't I catch that?" But there's times if I'm catching it,
Yeah.
then it's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know, like you know, what were we talking about before? What was the one we were talking about before that we didn't agree?
Last Rambo.
Yes, The Last Rambo. So when I get done with a film, especially a film like that deals with human trafficking, I am not happy because I don't want that to be happening.
Yep.
And then the people that they decide in the script who's going to get taken out, they don't mean anything.
Yeah.
They are dogs at the end of the chain. And they're not the ones that make any decisions. You're getting rid of somebody that's already replaced.
Yep.
So you're making no mark. You drawing these people into you and getting them away from the whole thing isn't helping anything. You know, in the end of the movie, you're like, oh, he got them. Well, who did he get? So that's where my brain is. That's why when I finish with a film like that, I'm like, whatever.
I'm not.
So I got to the edge of exploiting and like an exploitation situation, watching a movie about human trafficking. And then in the end, you're not going to make any difference anyway. So that's why I'm like, really? You're going to go through all of this, make me feel this icky burn in my chest, and then you're going to end it like that. And I'm like, oh, great. Yeah. Nope. No lessons learned here. Nothing good here.
Rocky Five.
Rocky Five.
There it is.
Rocky Five versus Last Blood.
Last Rambo versus Rocky Five versus Rise of Skywalker. I do not have the last Rambo on DVD, but I got the rest.
I'll show you how that fight's going to go. Every one of those movies would be a slap fest.
Did you guys all see Rocky Balboa? That movie?
Yeah.
I did not see it.
Yeah.
I thought the restaurant was really cool because it has all his memorabilia. And in the very back of the entire wall is taken up by that painting that was from what, Rocky 2?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Rocky 3, I think, the big painting that was on the wall where he was training.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rocky 3.
Because that was in Rocky 3 because it was when he was training in the hotel for Clubber Lang before the fight he lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. They brought that back and put it in there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
What's your favorite moment from a Rocky film?
Man, there's a lot.
I'll tell you what mine is. It's Rocky 3 when, what was it? I think at the end of the second round of that second match with Clubber Lang, Lang was starting to just pound him, and Rocky started getting that Hulk Hogan thing where the more you hit him, the better he got. And he just had enough of Clubber Lang, and he just walked up to him and goes, you ain't bad. He puts that glove in his face and just shoves him and says, you ain't nothing. He just pushes him away. I was like, yes, Rocky's going to kick his ass here any minute now. You know what's interesting about Rocky 3 is how short the final bout was. I think it was like 3 rounds, maybe.
Yeah. Wait, which one?
Rocky 3. It was a really short final match where the first 2 went the distance, didn't they?
Yes. Well, they went 15, but the second one ended.
The second one ended in the 15th, right?
Yeah.
I just love that. I'll sit there and rewatch that last bout with Clubber Lang. I've seen it so many times. And it's
Yeah.
not short, so it's easy to watch several times.
One of those where he comes back and just like annihilates the dude. That it's always a payoff. But you know, I loved when he beat Dolph Lundgren,
Ivan Drago.
Yeah, because that was just like at the time, especially you're like, oh man.
I always remember
Oh,
one
like Russians, man.
Yeah.
Hate to
There's
say
one
it,
little
but
scene in there where Drago
that's how it was.
hits him across the ring or throws him across the ring or something, and Rocky jumps right back up and comes running back across the ring at him. I always remember that clip. It's hilarious, eh?
Yeah.
The robot in Rocky 4, thumbs up or down?
Down.
Oh my god.
Polly's robot. They bought him for his birthday.
Wow.
And then Polly changes his voice so it's a woman,
Horrifying.
like Siri.
Ollie.
I do that with my GPS.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
British accent,
I
right?
have a British woman on my GPS.
I knew it.
The only other thing I would have done is if they had an Irish woman.
Okay,
I would have
yeah.
done that one. With that brogue. Yeah, that would be great every time. Especially if they make those extra compliment things, you know. Nice turn, you know. That'd be great.
I was talking to someone at work years ago. It was Mike Bannis bar, and we were talking about the GPS. And I said, "Wouldn't it be great if you could get a voice of Harry Carey?" Hey,
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's your turn.
Even better, Will Ferrell doing Harry Carey.
You must have had the sun in your eyes.
I always like that quote. If you're a hot dog, would you eat yourself? I know I would.
Here's a guy, Jose Concepcion.
Those guys ask themselves that at some point in their life.
You know, what's funny, as a huge Cardinal fan during the 80s, during the summer, I watched every stinking Cubs game because I love Terry Carey.
Yeah.
And I was always rooting
Carey.
I always was rooting for them to lose. And remember, I was little and I found out that Harry Carey was the Cardinal announcer. He was the Cardinal announcer for 25 years.
Wow.
And at one point, they had Harry Carey, Jack Buck, and Joe Garagiola. I'm like, this is the greatest team I've ever heard of.
Dream team.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's like commentator Olympics right there.
Yeah, I mean, by the time he was with the Cubs, Harry was kind of goofy. He was still great, but when you listen to those broadcasts in the '60s, best announcer I've ever heard in my life.
Is it Joe Buck Jr.? Is it John Buck? What's his name? Joe Buck's son.
Joe Buck is
Joe Buck is Jack Buck's son.
Jack Buck's son.
Oh, okay. Are you talking Joe Buck or Jack Buck was there? Jack Buck.
Jack Buck.
Jack Buck.
I could never stand Joe Buck.
Nope.
Until I heard him on do an interview on Howard Stern, and he was awesome. The stories he told about what he deals with and all the stuff, it was really, really interesting. He wrote a book or something like that. He went on Howard Stern, and it was like an hour and a half interview, and it was excellent. Like they totally made because he's a homer type, you know, when they watch. Because I always watch, like, I saw Joe Buck when the Red Sox were in the playoffs, right? And they'd be playing like St. Louis or something, and of course, it always seemed like he was a National League guy. It seemed to me, Joe Buck was. And anyway, long story short, if you ever have an opportunity to listen to that interview, it was excellent. Some of the stories he told and things that go on behind the scenes and stuff. It was great.
Yeah, I'm not a Joe Buck fan myself.
Yeah.
What is an announcer? He's much more tolerable not announcing. He's actually okay seemingly got. Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. He's probably better just talking.
Yeah, he seems like a down earth dude. You know, I mean,
I don't know, when he does the games, even when he was doing the Cardinals games, he just seemed like he was bored out of his mind. I mean, I got to the point where I was like, I'm not even sure if he likes baseball. I mean, seriously, he just seems so bored with it.
Seriously.
I'm like, do you like it? I don't even know if he did or not.
I don't know. I think he always ached for a bigger market. He didn't want to. He didn't. I don't think he liked the local market thing.
He was He's unusually unpopular in St. Louis for a local guy.
Wow.
Well, because he don't play favorites of St. Louis, and people don't particularly like that. I don't think from St. Louis.
Yeah, I think part of it is I think some people don't like that he left being the Cardinal announcer to go do bigger and better things, and I don't know.
Yeah.
There's my Joe Buck rant.
He's a very tolerable guy. Otherwise,
I don't like when he calls football games. I just think there's either he's always down on somebody,
yes,
or he says things that are too obvious. I'm just like, yeah, thanks. I saw that. But I think, mainly it's the other, but
how about the announcers in the Rocky fights? What you think of them?
Oh,
what's that?
The announcers in the Rocky fights.
I love the first. What was the same two guys in the first three films?
I think at least the first two, probably the first three. Yeah,
Definitely the first. I think the first three.
Seemed genuine, didn't it?
It did.
I think they may have been real announcers.
They seem more genuine than in the last Rocky movie. Rocky Balboa. They had real announcers. They had Jim. What's his name from HBO? Oh, I can't remember. All three of them were well-known announcers.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They didn't seem like they were nearly as good as the first two guys. Those first two guys were actually pretty exciting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're good.
Yeah, because the announcer in the first movie was, of course, he's the guy that was part of the whole deal, because he's the one that talked to Rocky first, and then because he's kind of an interesting looking person, because just the way he's built, the way he carries himself, and the look of his face. I don't know. He's got that interesting look that's either, makes you feel like he's a kind of a slimy character or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just he's got to look for that where you're like, do I trust you or not? I don't.
Yeah, JD had it's Jim Lampley, the guy, and then Max Kellerman was on that last movie. He was terrible in that one. He really was bad. God.
And so I was saying earlier about how it sort of ruined boxing, because I mean, where are the places you're never going to go see a boxing match? I mean, that's going to entertain a person on a level that those ones did, right? Am I wrong in that? Because I know the people who love boxing would love boxing, and they would say, "No way, boxing's great." That's a joke. That's so unrealistic.
Well,
but the vast majority of people aren't those experts on boxing, and that's what they're going to want to see, right?
Well, right. I think we can answer that for you, Pete. Does anyone know who the world heavyweight champion is right now?
I have no idea.
I don't know, and I haven't known for years and years.
No.
Wow.
Maybe since Evander Holyfield. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah. No, you're very, very
boxing,
right.
But I couldn't name a single boxer today, let alone the champion.
I mean, I can remember like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. That was back Tyson days, right?
Yeah.
But really, after Tyson, I did pay to go see a Tyson match one time. It was, I think it was Michael Spink's 91 seconds knockout. It's like, and it was just wow.
Well, so that would have been great to see in person.
Yeah,
see one Tyson fight in person.
Was it the early '80s or through the '80s? Was Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvis Hagler, who just passed away here last month. Do you remember? That's so funny you mentioned that. Do you remember was it Red Heat? Was John Belushi and Schwarzenegger?
I do.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And in the very beginning of the movie, it's got a scene with Jim Belushi chasing the guy down, and he's going through and he's like shooting at him, and he's like, he gets him out on the fire escape, and he's got him up again, and he goes, man, I'm really mad at you right now. He goes, you know why? Because you look like Hagler. I lost money on Hagler.
Yeah.
The last boxing match I watched was Merriweather and McGregor. Conor McGregor is an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Who thought he could beat Floyd Mayweather, who was actually, at the time, I believe he was the top. I don't know. But
yeah.
Anyways, we went to this get together where everybody there was boxing fans except for me and my buddy. And oh my God, they found out about that when they just went off on us. How could you? They wouldn't let it rest.
About how boxing is terrible?
About how this whole thing is kind of a farce, and they're bringing in this MMA fighter to box with this actual boxer, and boy, they were just livid.
Well, I think they should turn around, have a boxing match, then turn around and have an MMA match 2 weeks later. See how that worked out for them.
Anyways, we got out of there before we got into a boxing match.
Then what other two supporting characters would you put up against each other? I mean, automatically it's Adrian versus Paulie.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that like in an MMA where it just kicks the shit out of him.
Clubber Lang versus Paulie's robot.
How about Rocky's son versus the robot?
Clint Howard versus Sage Stallone.
His son will be whining about why didn't he have a robot? Why didn't you give me a robot?
Hey, I just thought of something. I think I know the last boxing match that Jeff saw. Rowdy Roddy Piper versus Mr. T.
Now, Mr. T, he was never a boxer, was he? Wasn't he like a bodyguard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was
because in that match,
he won a bouncer contest or something.
Yeah, in that match, I was like, wow, he is terrible at this.
Yeah.
I mean, Piper, he wasn't a boxer either, but he looked a lot better. Mr. T.
Yeah, he wasn't even a wrestler or nothing. He was just
take care of Mike.
Street, really.
Yeah,
just a hired gun.
Yeah, he wasn't very good in wrestling or boxing.
Oh, poor Victory.
This thing you're trying to make a living at, you're really not good.
And he's pretty small too. I mean, he wasn't like a big guy or anything.
He looked domineering when you put him on an 18 with George Papard, but that
that's not hard to do.
Yeah.
Ooh, you could have a match between why can't I think of what's the guy who's the trainer? Creed's trainer, Apollo Creed's trainer versus Mickey.
Yeah. Would Mickey be allowed to wear his hearing aids so we could hear the bell?
Yeah.
Got me, Mick.
That's a beautiful trophy. It certainly is a thing of beauty. I kept expecting him to go, aye, and hollow a can of spinach. We place in the spinach because he eats my spinach. Or Mickey, yeah.
Just once, I wish I would have cut the Mickey where he was smoking that penguin cigarette.
Yeah, really.
Just for one quick scene, like they just forgot it.
Yeah. It certainly is a thing of beauty. Meanwhile, I'm standing there next to the thing 5 years ago looking at it. Connor's standing there, we're looking at the truck. I said, that certainly is a thing of beauty. He looks at me like I'm nuts because he has no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, Lord.
This whole guy's got such an odd voice and delivery. It's like there's never going to be another Burgess Meredith.
No
way.
No.
Good Lord. So our unofficial sponsor tonight, Dewey's Pizza. If you guys ever make it in St. Louis,
Dewey's Pizza.
it's so
Right
good.
on. Listen, you made me thirsty with that, though. I'll be back.
Pete's coming back.
Okay, everybody, talk about Pete.
On that note,
I know how to clear a room. So Jeff, how many of the Rocky films did you see in the theater?
Maybe the first three.
First three? You didn't see 4 in the theater?
Nah, I bailed by 4. I mean, I did see 4 eventually, but I didn't see it right away.
Yeah, but you didn't go to the theater and see it?
I don't think so. I mean, I may have. I don't think so. Definitely didn't see 5.
Nope.
No, I take it back. 5 is when I bailed because I didn't see that until probably 20 years later.
Right.
You know, and when I saw it, I was like, I could have waited another 20 years, actually.
I'd have been just fine.
It's like it wasn't even a boxing match. Like, what was the point of this?
or as Lucy, my friend's daughter, as she so poignantly put it, I missed Cheers for this.
Yeah, that brawl in 5, that was I could have done without that movie.
I'm gonna
do it all the time.
There you go.
He's got himself a Guinness as well. Look at this.
Yeah. One of my favorite things in my life so far is going to the Guinness brewery and pouring the perfect pint.
What's the chocolate milk swirl in it?
Oh, sexy.
Yeah, JD said boxing needs a facelift with all the great characters are on. I wonder if it'll ever make a comeback. You need at least one great boxer to do that.
It's not a politically correct sport as much anymore either, but
yeah, it's a little surprising it's still around, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
just 2 guys beating the hell out of each other.
but MMA is more brutal. But
That's true.
it's huge.
I guess, but that's what's always turned me on. I don't know why I can watch boxing movies and enjoy them, but to watch boxing, there's a moment where I watch it, but I really don't understand it.
Well, no,
Like-
me neither. Yeah, I understand.
I'm
that.
like,
I
why are
really
2
do.
guys just gladiatoring it out?
Yeah.
You know?
I remember watching when I was really little, Muhammad Ali versus Leon Spinks.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was all fired up for it because, Spinks was from St. Louis and I was really rooting for him
Right.
and couldn't believe he actually won. And I didn't know anything about boxing at the time. I knew who Muhammad Ali was, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
I was only excited because the guy was a hometown guy.
Yeah.
I wonder I think he's living somewhere in Missouri, I thought he was like a custodian or something. I can't remember. He's still around, but he's his life really went kind of.
I don't remember hearing about him.
Although I think Michael Spinks, I think he's done fine. His brother.
One of them just passed away here.
Oh, really? Maybe it was Leon.
I'm once again, Jeff, I'm feeling elegant.
Oh,
Died February 5th, 2021.
Oh.
Leon Spinks.
oh wow! I completely missed it.
Wow, missed that.
In Henderson, Nevada. He was from St. Louis, like you said.
Oh yeah, Corey Spinks. I forgot. Yeah, he was getting pretty popular, especially here for a while, and then he had a match against. I can't remember who that was. It was hilarious because Corey Spinks came out. It took him about 10 minutes to walk down the aisle to get to the ring. He was just going really slow and they're playing music, just kind of dancing. And then the match started and the other guy just tore him up. I'm like, dude, if you're going to act like that, you better be coming with some
Back
good
it
stuff
up.
here. Yeah, you better back it up.
Man.
Speaking of dead St. Louis sports people, Bobby Plager died today.
I
know.
Oh, really? Bob Plager?
Yeah,
He was in a car
car
accident.
crash. Yeah,
Jeez.
That's
On
crazy.
40, right? Is that where they
Yeah, on 40.
Like 4 hours ago or something.
Yeah, it was like 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was this afternoon sometime.
Jeez, what a shame.
He was an icon, man.
A blues
Oh, yeah.
legend.
Bob and Barkley, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I got one of my students is probably going to be pretty down about that on Monday.
He was at. I don't recall not seeing him at a game. I think he was always at a game.
Still, eh?
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
So he stayed right in center. I mean, he played one. I got his name up here now. I remember him from hockey cards when I was a kid growing up, right? Following it, but he always never played anywhere but St. Louis. Didn't he come to the team during expansion?
Yeah, he was one of the originals, I believe. Him and his brother.
I believe so, yeah.
And Barkley was his older brother, right?
Yeah, he died, I think, from cancer years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
It's been a long time.
Barkley and Bill.
It was funny. The first, what was it, the first? I guess it was the first 3 seasons. The Blues were in the Stanley Cup from expansion
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
because they put all the expansion teams in one conference and everyone else was in the other. So the
Yeah,
Blues were the best of the expansion teams, but they lost 4-0 in 3 straight Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one they won, I think they lost the first game as well. So that's 13 consecutive losses in the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't think that'll ever be broken.
Sorry, State.
You can only hope. Oh,
He was from Kirkland Lake, Canada.
I
What is it?
was asking Jeff, how many of the films did you see at the theater?
And I'm thinking of 3 or 4 for me. The first 3 or 4, I can't remember exactly.
No, you saw
None.
none in the theater.
No, I'm sure I didn't. No.
I'm not sure I did. I might have seen 2. Or actually, I might have seen 3 because, let's see. 1982, it's year I graduated. Yeah, I probably saw that. I probably saw 3.
Yeah, I saw all of the first 4, and then I don't think I saw any of the other ones. I dropped out before 5 at the theater. So, and then I haven't watched it until recently. So, I
It's kind
think
of
I may
funny
have caught a couple
how
minutes,
much, how so many people like Rocky films, me included, when, a lot of times the fighting stuff's pretty goofy. I mean, like they're boxing, and then I know Rocky did it to Clubber Lang. I think Clubber Lang did to him. Right? He just grabbed him by the arm and he just threw him into the corner.
Yeah.
I have never seen that in my life in any other boxing movie. Or in Rocky 3 too. Clubber Lang throws a punch, and Rocky actually sticks his hand out there and basically catches it. Can't grab it, of course, but he just caught it. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that either in a boxing match. It's like, where do they come up with this stuff? It was just goofy, man. For some reason, I liked it.
Yeah, it's one of those cool impossibilities, right? You're like, yeah, that'd never happen. But that was so cool.
That's probably why you like boxing movies and not boxing, because it's way cooler.
Yeah, and you kind of wanted to see Rocky get the hell beat out of him, just so you could see him come back from that.
Well, you knew it was going to happen.
I mean, because you don't want to see Rocky go out there and just end it in the first round.
I'm done.
Yeah. That's boring.
You get like 4 pieces of popcorn up to your mouth. You're like, oh. Okay. No, he's out. Oh.
I think it's interesting how the final Rocky film was very similar to the first one. That it was just a big long story build up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first one probably had. It probably took longer to get to the fight than most of them. It was the same thing with the last one. It took a long time to get to that fight, and it was mainly story, which I really loved at the time. But that's kind of why I like Rocky 3 the best, because there's a story,
action.
but they get right into the action, and to me, the Rocky movies, that's my favorite part. I mean, Rocky 1 was great because it told that story.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I I go back to the first one too with the scene with Rocky and Adrian when they go, it's after it's Thanksgiving, and then they go back to his place, and he's like, and he pulls that whole puppy dog thing on her, he's like, oh, you want to come in, and she's like, I don't think I should. And then he's like, well, it's and she's like, well, and then she's at the doorway, and then he gets her into the place, and then she's like, I don't think I should be here. Well, these are my pets, and everything. And then they have this whole huge romantic scene at the door kissing, and it's like, wow, that's interesting scene.
Did anyone else think that Adrian was a little too shy in that first movie?
No.
I mean, there were times I was wondering if there was something wrong with her. I mean, she was just so
Yeah.
It just she didn't seem right. I'm like, is there something wrong with her?
Thought she had a touch of the palsy or something.
Something. I was like, what?
Yeah,
She
really.
was so shy to me.
She was quiet.
Very
A little too quiet.
Well, he
I
got her
also-
into his apartment by saying, "Hey, you want to come meet my turtles? They're Cuff and Link." So it didn't take much,
So the flies, they get caught in the throat and then they cough. So
Yeah.
I did like in all the films after that, she was kind of reduced to wincing.
Real Housewives of Rocky.
He's like, she's like, stay down. And then he started beating the hell out of the other guy. And she's like, Rocky.
yeah.
They could have just taken
Didn't see that coming.
just taken her from like Rocky 2 and just kind of spliced it in for 3 and 4.
Well, sometimes she was there and then sometimes she wasn't there. And
So did she do anything besides Rocky and The Godfather?
I was just in the process of looking that up. David.
Let's find out, shall we?
I mean, I
I'm
feel like I've
sorry.
only seen her in 2 movies, and she picked like 2 of the greatest franchises of all time. It's amazing.
Yeah.
She was in some horror movie that I can remember from the early 80s or 70s. And so they go, "Which
yeah,
one
that's
was it?"
right.
So in the final Rocky movie, she was dead before the movie started. Did she die in Rocky 5, or was that just in between the 2 movies?
I think it was just in between.
Why
I
did
think
they
it was
kill
just-
her off? Was she
I
not?
don't think she wanted to come back.
I guess she had a full schedule. Sorry, guys. I heard there might be a Godfather 4. I'm going to wait for that one.
Well, she's in the movie from last year called Working Man.
Huh.
She plays Iola Parks.
What the hell movie is that?
She was in Dreamland in 2016.
Wow.
And then other things that I have no clue what they are.
You mean like Dim Sum Funeral?
Yeah, I just read that.
What, did you say Dim Sum Funeral?
Yeah, Dim Sum Funeral.
Viola Davis. Wow.
Why is there dim sum at a funeral?
I don't
Although
know.
that sounds like a
Why is
funeral.
Talia Shire there?
It sounds like an album title.
Look at
It's not a bad name for a band, actually.
Yeah.
Look at JD.
Dim
She
Sum
saw this.
Funeral.
She saw the script for Rocky 5 and bailed.
God, about it.
Get it out.
She's like, I can't take this anymore.
It's pretty
Yeah.
cool friggin' lineup of films she was in.
Yeah, she didn't pick very well.
Yeah, there.
She could live off
Yeah.
them other 2.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Grace and Frankie
No.
though. She's in Grace and Frankie.
Yeah.
She was in Grace and Frankie.
Yeah. She played Teddy.
That's right. Good damn.
In 2 episodes, the pop-ups and the hinge. So you got that go for you.
I don't know those at
And then-
all.
Before we leave tonight, though, I do want to mention about my recent binge thing. So we'll talk about that before we go. You just tell me when we're about ready to go, and then I'll tell you.
Your recent binge.
Yeah.
He probably watched all of Megaforce with director's commentary.
Dude, that's one of those things that I may never, ever, ever even let anybody know if I ever watch that movie. No, it's not really that bad. I would tell you if I watched the movie. Just to see that guy at the end looking like he's watching porn.
Bar, have you seen that movie, Megaforce? We were talking about it last. What were we talking about?
Nobody's seen the movie Megaforce.
Oh, last week we were talking about it.
I don't know that I have.
What was it, an 82 film? Oh, look at that. Pete's not even getting out of his chair.
I think he's using the Force.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that.
Oh, there's the video game.
Wow.
I can't even believe you have that. I would love to have that.
That's awesome.
Have you played that, Pete? Is it any good?
Oh yeah, I had it when I was a kid actually, and this is I bought it again to make up for it. Of course, I love the 20th Century Fox games too, so I haven't got very many of them, just 4 of them. But
I'm assuming you have the 20th Century Fox MASH game.
oh yeah,
The game of MASH.
yeah.
Do you have the T-shirt that came with it, Pete?
I do not.
I wish I still had mine. It
Do
came
you
with
have
a
2
T-shirt.
copies of that?
Oh my god.
It
Very
did.
popular. Wow.
The shirt that came with it was a medium, and you could send it in, and for $1.95 they'd send you a whatever other size you wanted if you couldn't fit into a medium. So,
Well, I know even as a kid I couldn't fit in a medium, so it just laid there.
I think the offer's over now, but
Yeah, and that's why they created the cricket, so you could just make your own.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, I actually like the MASH game. I remember there was like a surgical part.
yeah.
Was there blood?
I don't remember. But the game was like broken up into different sections, wasn't it? Like different.
Well,
games.
if you really want to know, go to Papa Pete's video channel and look under reviews, and I do a review of 20th Century Fox MASH
Really?
4077 video game way back when. I did that 2.5 years ago, probably now. But
What
yeah, I
if they
did
did the
review of it.
MASH video game meets Operation?
Well, that's about it.
Ah.
Yeah, ferret face.
Ferret face.
That's what happens when you hit the buzzer, like in Operation. It goes, the buzzer goes off, and up on the top of the screen, ferret face.
Great. I have to be Burns.
One of my favorite lines was when Trapper John said to Frank, he said, "Frank, why don't you let that cut under your nose heal?"
Oh, so if we're going to talk, we're on the subject of boxing, and if we're going to talk about boxing and talk about MASH, one of my favorite episodes ever is season 1, episode 3, Requiem for a Lightweight.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one where the captain, it's a Sorrel Book, Boss Hogg from Dukes of Hazzard, comes in and brings his boy to fight, and they talk Trapper into fighting him. So one of my favorite lines of all time from that show is they're out there training, and Hawkeye is training Trapper, and they have the duffel bag up all stuffed, and Trapper's boxing away at it, bang, 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 and Margaret walks by, hot lips, and goes, "Oh, I love to watch a fighter work out." And so they say, "Yeah, watch all you want." And she looks over, and you can see right on the side of the duffel bag they got stuff is Major Frank Burns, and she goes, "Hey, isn't that Frank's bag?" And Trapper looks at her and goes, "I thought you were Frank's bag." Classic.
Those were the ones where they were just so clever.
Oh, exactly. Yes, precisely.
You know?
Pete, you remember the one where I forgot there was some guy who was really injured badly, and I think they thought he was dead at the time, and there was some kind of ceremony going on outside, and they're playing the national anthem or something. And
They're playing the national anthem of Luxembourg.
And the guy who they thought was dead, he was all wrapped up, and he came stumbling out. And someone said to Trapper or Hawkeye, one of them said, "I thought he was dead." And he goes, "Yeah, he got better."
You got better. Boy, by the time we got lost, they lost him. That's like the guy came to collect the body of him, and they lost him. They couldn't find the body anyway. So, well, we'll have a ceremony for you anyway. And that was when Henry got to the play. And now everybody stand at attention for the national anthem of Luxembourg. So it's playing, and they're all standing there at attention. And the guy freaking comes out with the arm cast, everything staggers out. Yeah. I thought he was dead. Well, he got better, I guess.
Oh man.
So who felt terrible for Rocky when he had to try to do that commercial, and he had that nose
Rocky
piece
3?
on?
Yes. Rocky 2. That was in 2 because that was
That
sort of
too?
like the downplay. He got
When
300.
I
He signed
won-
this deal for 300 grand, right?
Yeah, I wish I remember what he would say. Do you want to, whatever you want to
Yeah.
smell like a man or whatever? And you're just like, oh God.
Like, you really think this smells like a man? It smells like, I don't know what it smells like. You know?
I don't know what it
that's great.
smells like. That's beautiful.
But you did
Yeah.
have to feel sorry for him, you know.
Yeah, it was so awkward watching him do that stuff.
You cost us thousands of dollars because you can't act and you can't read.
Yeah, that's true. Why didn't you check that out ahead of time?
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm the dumb one. It's like I worked with a guy bitching and moaning about his wife all day, and then I was like, well, you married her? And he's like, shut up. I mean, whatever. Whatever.
JD, I'm damn near at the point where I could write a university thesis on friggin' differentiating between different characters in that show just because they actually did it so masterfully. They did absolutely nothing to replace a character with somebody that was supposed to resemble a character. They went to the exact opposite every time. And they were the only, like, usually a kid would grow up and go off a show and they replace it with another cute kid. Or somebody, a cool character would come and then go, and they replace it with another cool character. A little change. Friggin' MASH, no way. They had Henry Blake, which was no more of a friggin' military person. He was a doctor who was hilarious, drunkard, womanizer, and just basically, though, a nice guy overall person. And when they brought in the replacement of a hardcore, long-term, 40-year military person who was also a doctor, but at the same time had extremely solid qualities as a leader, which Henry Blake really didn't have, even though Henry Blake had inklings of it. Potter was the exact opposite of what Henry Blake was. Then they did the exact same thing when they really brought in Klinger, changed Klinger over to get rid of that character because after 6 or 7 years, the womanizing character was getting stale, but people still loved Jamie Farr's character. So when Radar left, they brought that in and they could build that amazingly. Totally different person than Radar. Didn't try to replace him, just tried to morph something they already had. And then the last example, when Frank Burns left, I mean, there was a buffoon who was a friggin' moron, and they brought in somebody who was actually a superior person, a superior person in the social aspects, and a superior surgeon than Hawkeye and BJ. So it gave them a totally different trait to the whole aspect of the way they worked those storylines after that.
Yeah.
They didn't just try to regurgitate what they'd already done. And that was one of the most masterful things that they did. Yes, people liked the early years better, they tend to, because it was more slapstick comedy. And it was also better when they actually had the set that was outside, if you notice. Around season 6 or 7, everything goes to sets, as opposed to being filmed outside in the California mountainside. Because the entire thing burnt is what happened. And they didn't have it anymore. There was a big grass fire and the whole set burned. So they just went inside after that. They made a really different era. Like, even when the ambulances came in, you could tell it was a soundstage. Anyway,
yeah,
I go on and on and on. But, that's so Potter versus Blake. A lot of people have opinion of which one they like better, but they're completely and utterly different characters, very intentionally so. And I think they're both incredibly good no matter what.
So what you're saying is Blake versus Potter is like David Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar. So it's like, they're apples and oranges. Both were great.
Yeah. And
you can't even say better.
And let me say this to you, Stu, with that. Like you say, David, you are very extremely, extremely knowledgeable about that genre, about rock and about music and such. So you see David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar as being complete opposites. Whereas me, who has a less of a knowledge of that whole thing, I've not watched it like you have. Like you got vast knowledge on that. I don't see those extreme differences. So a lot of people who haven't watched MASH like I have may not see the difference between Potter and Blake as much. you see what I'm saying? Because you say that, and I go,
do.
well, not really. But then again, I don't know those people all that well. I only know them rough enough to go, yeah, David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar, even though they're both rock and this, they were really different, weren't they?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
But
sorry,
yeah,
go on and on.
you know, with
I love Mash.
David Lee Roth, you've got all the original recordings and all that stuff. But with Sammy, he could sing it all live too.
Yeah.
You know, that struck a chord. Not a Sammy fan.
Oh yeah, Sammy's amazing.
So,
why aren't you a fan?
I just have never been. I never got his. I don't know. I never got him. I guess, but
okay.
He, not saying bad. Just
no, I get it. No, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of folks that are kind of like that, and they've got some of those clear-cut things like that, but those kind of confuse me sometimes. I'm like, oh, you don't? Okay, really?
I was more of a new wave punk guy than a hard rock guy. Mm-hmm. But when I heard Van Halen, that kind of converted me a little bit.
Yeah,
but I never really understood the appeal, and I knew it's extremely unpopular in St. Louis, especially, to not like Sammy Hagar. But
he's very popular.
I unapologetically will say it because it's not my thing. I don't get him, but yeah, everybody's got their thing. It's fine.
I'm in the same boat with Bar. I grew up new wave punk.
Me and Jeff listened to the exact same music.
We were in the same office. We used to listen to a bunch of music. It was awesome.
That was awesome.
So Bar, I'll have to ask you, I suppose, do you know of Bill Nelson? He was in a band. The reason I ask you,
I know that.
The reason I ask is because you need to look it up on YouTube. And Bill Nelson was in. He was in Bebop Deluxe, which was a new wave-ish kind of punk edge band. Then Bill Nelson went off and did his own stuff. And one of the first things he did was in 1979, and he did an album under kind of the project was Sound on Sound was the album. And so it's Bill Nelson's Red Noise. And then the album is Sound on Sound. And it's one of the best new wave records I have ever heard.
Well, now you have me looking it up, so I will.
Yeah, because if you've never heard it, you're gonna love it. So,
I was a Gary Newman disciple.
Yep, me too.
From way back.
Yep.
Early. The first two albums, B-52s, were masterpieces in my eyes.
Right.
And what else? I like that whole genre. And me and Jeff the same way. We were separated at birth when it comes to music like that.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to check that record out. I don't know if I've turned Jeff onto that yet, but
I will. That's on
that Red Noise album is if I'll be surprised if you don't think it's one of the better things you've ever heard.
I'll let you know. I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah. I got it on CD. I was shopping for it on CD. I saw it on eBay. It had gotten up to I think it was in the 20s, and I put a bid down in the 20s, and the next moment it was $120 some.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you.
Right.
And you know how it goes in waves, right? So I wait like 3 months go by, and I'm like, oh, I should check on that again. And then I ended up winning it for $20, a little over $20. It's just strange.
Wait, is this the name of the album?
What's that?
Is that the name of the album or the name of the band?
That's the name of the band. It's Bill Nelson's Red Noise, and the album is called Sound on Sound.
Yeah. It seems to me that it was you and Tommy Stew on Hammer Away talking about Van Halen that night.
Oh yeah,
I ended up downloading a lot of it. Listened to 3 or 4 albums at work. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Again, I had listened to some. I had a few. Like I had what was Sammy's first one? OU812 or 5150?
No, that was the second one. The first one was 5150.
5150 was the first one. I guess that's the one I think that I had, and I downloaded all those and been listening to them. It's really great.
Yeah,
but I love the David Lee Roth stuff too, which was going on when I was in high school and such, right, and before, and even younger. So thanks for that. I really enjoyed that. Like, listen, I love listening to you talk about that, and were you talking to Toby?
Yeah,
Jessam?
Yeah, Jepson
or Jessam?
Jepson.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I like his stuff. I like the stuff for Wayward Son.
Yeah, Wayward Son stuff. I'm just getting ready to start helping give a push because their new album is going to come out this year, and they just are getting ready. I think on Friday they're dropping the second single.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting times for them.
It's so weird now because everything's streaming, right? How do they make money at it?
I don't know how they do that.
Well, ultimately, you get out there and you make money because your shirts are selling or your shows. You know, once everybody gets back to live shows, but your merch is selling. You're also doing whatever you can. But normally, you got to remember, like I've mentioned before with Henry Lee Summer, when he got signed to Columbia, you're like, yay, hey man, I got a record contract. And then you make the record and then you realize you're not making as much money as you used to selling albums out of the back of your car.
Yeah.
Going up and down the West Coast, and because somebody you sign it all away and that's,
So how are they making money on, say like Google Music? Do they just get like a small amount of money every time someone downloads or someone plays their song? Is that how it works?
Yeah. I think they get a big part of, like, if you're paying for the services, they get money through that, because it's ASCAP, right? They do all that,
right?
And when you sign to a service like Spotify or something, or you subscribe to that service, they get a cut of that subscription.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I think what was I going to say about that? I think some services give more somehow. So I remember somebody, it's been years ago, but I think somebody was telling me, well, I'm going to get this service because it benefits the artist more.
More than Spotify. Microsoft has a Game Pass, but they do the same thing. You pay like $15 a month, and then they keep adding more games to it. I'm always like, how do they make money off of this? I mean, like, how do the developers make money off of it? I get what they're doing; they get so much per download or whatever, but my mind can't even comprehend how in the world they're making a decent amount of money when there's.
Well, I think now YouTube Music here, we pay a family thing, so we have one for each of us. We have our own logins to YouTube Music, and it costs us like $17.99 a month.
Yeah, we do the same thing. I think might be 15 here, but same thing. All four of us, we've got Google Music, and also it gives you YouTube Premium,
right?
Which is nice. I haven't seen an ad on YouTube in years. It's been awesome.
That's right.
I know it's great, isn't it?
And so it's like, but that's less than the price of an album that we're giving them to be split amongst the 500 songs a month they listen to, let's say.
Yeah.
So it's not a whole lot of money. That's they're not making much money off that.
Right. Yeah. They've had to get really creative and figure out what they're going to do or what aren't they going to do. Yeah. If they need that or if they don't.
This is what come out of the Napster thing. Remember the Napster fiasco in the 90s?
Oh, yeah.
This is what come out of it.
I Disappear. That was... Oh, what'd they say? They missed the Doug interview live? Yeah. Check it out, man. That was great talking to Doug last night. That was a dream to have him back, or to have him on the show and get back in contact with him. That was really cool.
Here you go. JD's he's in a band who's talking about what we were just talking about.
Merch now. Yeah, my band is cutting an album, self-funded, no expectations. Just
JD,
Yep.
what's the name of your band? And what
Yeah.
kind of music do you play?
And when do we get to jam?
Yeah, when you come into St. Louis so we can hang out backstage.
Hang out backstage. I've done that a little bit. Some of the best times I had was Red Beach is one of the coolest dudes. He's a lot of fun, and I got to hang out with him a couple of times. So he's been probably my favorite over the years. But there's other ones.
Whoop, Shock Mafia.
Oh wow, that's a cool name. I like that.
That is a cool name.
And yeah, man, we ought to jam. I don't know where you are, but
Well, where are you? I think he told us
Oh, that's
before, JD,
cool.
where you were.
his singer in Shock Mafia knows Doug.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Red Beach. See, Red Beach told us a story in a clinic that he said he was looking under the rug for change so he could go get something to eat, and he got a call from his agent, and his agent says, "Hey," he goes, "I got a job for you." He's like, "Oh, okay," and he goes, I got a Milky Way commercial." So he goes, "Okay, that's cool." So he shows up to do the gig, and they hand him the sheet music. And that's why he was telling us this, because he can't read music, or couldn't at the time. And so he goes, "They hand me the sheet music." I'm like, could you play me a little bit of the song? And so they played him the song, and he's like doing this, all of his stuff over the top. And he goes, "You mean something like that?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay."
Wow.
Just
Man, that's when you're
play
good.
me
Do
the
that.
song.
Jeez.
Let me figure it out. I don't need no stinking sheet music. But yeah.
Yeah, JD's in the Washington, D.C. area.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
Did you notice, Stu?
What?
Did you notice?
What is it?
It's still there.
That beer.
Oh, is it? It's waiting for me. That's awesome. I can't wait. We got to get up there, especially because it's holding up all of your Switch games.
No, they're okay. It's sitting aside. So
You should put a tab there for Chuck. Pete.
yes, I should. Yeah, I should find one.
I just took my picture of tab down.
Oh.
I'm glad to see your shirt. I'm seeing my shirt everywhere tonight. I watched, of course, River City Rebels, Rebel Gaming Club. Dan's new video come out today too. And I know Dan's wearing a Papa Pete shirt and that too.
Did everybody get the original? We all got the original.
I think so far, except for Lance and
Well,
Perry.
thank God. The moment you've all been waiting for.
Perry.
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 Hello, Perry.
She's like, what is happening right now?
What the hell is
I don't
going on?
even know. What are we talking about?
She really doesn't look like she knows what's happening right now.
I
What
wanted
did they
to,
say, Clint Howard?
I wanted to kind of flip out and smack you with her paw. Just psh, have a real Rocky moment. She'd just give you a bitch slap.
Pete, tell Stuart the story of your shirt, your second shirt.
Oh, yeah.
The
So okay,
story of the second
the
shirt.
second shirt, like I sort of went on last night, a little bit about it. Like
This is the first shirt.
the first shirt, of course, I had that up there for about 2 or 3 weeks, and Jeff ordered some, and I ordered a bunch of them, and quite a few of them sold actually. And then
I have one.
Monday, and Monday or Tuesday of 1 week, they friggin' took it down. Atari claimed infringement because you see the Atari joystick on it, right?
Yes.
And so that's the only thing, and I got quite kind of perturbed at them, but at the end of the day, I couldn't friggin' argue it was an Atari joystick, so whatever. So I went and what's that?
Okay, go ahead.
So I went and I replaced the joystick with a generic red ball top joystick, right? So nothing to do with Atari. Yeah, exactly. Just a generic joystick. Uploaded it again on Friday. I was off that Friday. I did that in the afternoon. and I got it up there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then before I went to work later that night, I got this notification. It was up there about an hour and a half, and I got this snotogram from TeePublic saying you're not allowed to re-upload the same image again after we take it down. And so I get pissed. That's when I actually get pissed off and wrote them. And they have terrible public service. They have terrible customer service because I still haven't really heard back from them for this. But anyway, they went on and on. No, I said it's not the same image. I replaced the only thing that Atari could have an issue with. And it's not even Atari. It's TeePublic has instructions from Atari, and TeePublic looks at all the different things themselves and takes down anything they think might meet with what Atari has presented to them. Anyway, my point being is that it wasn't an Atari joystick anymore, so they never should have taken it down. I was quite pissed off. It was only up about an hour and a half. I finally, after a week and a half or so, sending them emails and not really hearing. I heard back from once. They gave me the generic, oh, when companies ask us to take things down, but nothing to do. I said, that's not nothing to do with it. I just said you took down the second one when it wasn't infringing anymore. And I'm not arguing that the first one was, but I'm not saying I thought the first one was, but it's an Atari joystick. I can't argue that. If you want to take it down, take it down. But I've replaced that joystick, and you didn't even look at it. You blame me for re-uploading the same image. So,
and you've not heard
one
back.
thing I noticed is that there was one sale in the hour and a half that second image was up before it was taken down. And yesterday, Mr. Lance Jennings sent me a picture on Messenger that he got that one shirt. So all the ones that we're wearing are very limited. We got the Atari joystick on them. But Lance has a one-of-a-kind Papa Pete joystick that was only listed for an hour and a half with this red ball joystick on it. So...
And you don't even have it, right, Pete?
What's that?
You don't even have a copy of that shirt, right?
No, I don't have a copy because I put it up. They took it down an hour later. I didn't order any of them. So yeah,
I don't know if maybe I have an issue with the fact that you said it's got Papa Pete's joystick on it. Maybe they just think you think too much of yourself.
I know. But
boy, this guy's full of himself. Get rid of that design too.
Yeah. Oh, it just ticked me off that when they come out, you re-uploaded the same design again. No, I didn't. I changed it.
You're like, do you
I
have
didn't
some
like it. I
eyes
took
there,
anything to
bro?
do with the Atari off it. Yeah, open your eyes.
Picturing Lance putting that shirt in a shadow box, and he's got it hanging on his wall right now.
Yeah. Collector's item.
Until I lose some weight, I think that's probably the best way I should display mine too. I ordered a large. I need to start ordering extra larges in those stretchy, shirts.
Yeah.
It's like, God, when they go, when they say it's okay, this is a large. Okay, really? It can either fit like a sausage casing, or it could be a little just a skosh loose, and you're like, cool, feel good. All right.
I was telling Celia, my clothes always seem to be shrinking for some reason. I don't know what's going on. They seem to be getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
Who's shrinking my damn shirts? I missed this one earlier.
They're getting shorter. They won't go down over anymore.
Oh.
Every year my shirts get tighter and tighter. What's going on?
Gosh.
All right, Stuart, what were you going to tell us?
Who, me?
Yeah, you said you had a story, or what was it?
Yeah, what was it?
Obsession or something.
I've lost it. I don't know.
You said you were going to say it at the end of the show.
I know.
Well, something your latest obsession or something.
Oh, yeah. Should I do that now? Or do we have a final Rocky thought?
Yeah, go ahead and do it now. We'll come up with the final thought.
Okay. So I've been binge watching the Bob Newhart show, the original.
Yeah.
Just the first season. That's all I've got.
Great show.
Yeah, it really is a good show. If anybody wants a very well written, well played show, there's certain plot themes that are kind of, it's more like a silly British comedy. So in certain ways, it's very, very good. And sometimes it's like Peanuts too, when they put certain what they would call a movie of animated Peanuts stuff, and you can tell where it's just they've cut scenes and it just doesn't seem to flow. But well, I don't even know why I mentioned that. But anyway, great. Never mind. No, but the Susan Plachette and Bob Newhart and all the characters that are supporting are just aces in that show.
Always.
Bill Daly and Peter Boners.
Peter Boners.
Mr. Redundant. So you're
What a name.
yeah.
Marshall
Yeah.
Wallace, Peter Boners.
Yeah. And then they had within that first season, but he was only in a few episodes. They have the doctor from the Love Boat.
Bernie Koppel?
He was
Yeah.
in that?
Yeah. Playing a
Didn't know that.
doctor.
Oh.
Oh, in his on that same floor?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So you had whatever his doctor's thing was, and then you had he was a psychiatrist or psychologist.
Psychologist, right?
Psychologist, I think. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So then you got your braces guy, orthodontist,
Jerry?
Jerry the orthodontist.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Man,
but
I did too many drugs in college. I don't remember none of that. But I love the Bob Newhart show.
Wasn't Bill Daly a pilot?
No, he was a navigator.
Oh, navigator. There you go.
Come on.
yeah,
Pete.
he was the navigator.
But he always brought stewardesses home, right?
He did, and then sometimes they would show up at his place.
Yeah.
Like in the episode I just watched, something was going on. She had a meeting at the apartment, so he had to go over there to try to watch the basketball game, and then and that's when a stewardess, and this was what I thought was cool about that show. It wasn't a different stewardess; it was actually the same woman, actress that you saw like 3 episodes ahead of that. So they brought her back as a reoccurring character and just had her get over to Howard's place, and then he of course had to leave because they started holding hands behind Bob on the couch as he's watching the game. So
Bill Daly, he went from I Dream of Jeannie to Bob Newhart show. Not bad.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's a great show though. Man, that first season is dead on.
And in between, when not filming either of those, he was getting drunk on Match Game.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That's right.
God, classic Match Game.
Yeah.
I just love how everybody was drinking and smoking right during the show.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody cared.
You don't mess around with CNR.
Charles
We should
Nelson
have just
Riley.
ended the show right there.
Okay, so there you go. The ultimate question at the end of this show, which we have to have answered within like 6 minutes so we go off the air, is who would win, Rocky Balboa or CNR?
Well, I'm picturing Charles getting that ascot and like kind of snapping it, really stinging Rocky.
Is it a dish off, or how do we? I think CNR could bring the dish.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
There's another guy. You'll never see another one of those. You'll never see another Charles Nelson Riley.
No.
No, nobody can support an ascot like that guy.
And like I say, every time we bring him up, try to watch his one-man show he did. It's called, it might just be called Life of Riley. I can't remember.
Life of Riley. I gotta look at that.
He
right
did a
now.
one-man show, and it is tremendous. It's just basically him talking about his life, and he had a really bizarre life.
Does he have a book out?
I think you turned me on to that.
I have the DVD. I can't find it. I don't know where the heck it is.
We talked about
Really?
that in the office.
Yeah, it just, I mean, if you like
Life
Charles
of
Nelson Riley,
Riley.
It's just,
8.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
oh yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's just him talking for like an hour and a half or so about his life, but it's so fascinating. He had one interesting life.
Wow.
His mom seemed like she was nuts. Dad had some problems. Yeah, it's just a cool story that he tells, and he's really funny too. Yeah.
It says it premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival in 2006 to positive
Wow.
reviews and proceeded to play for over a year on the festival circuit.
It looks like the DVD came out a year later in 2007.
Well, now I want to know if I can get it on Amazon, how much it is.
And he died in 2007.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh wow, he did.
Yeah.
Let's see what it says. See what we got here, folks. I don't know if they have any that are new. No, you can. So
I don't see it. Is this just like streaming? What is this?
I don't know. I was just, maybe I need to put in, oh, here. No. I'll put in DVD and see what it does.
He was an
And
episode of the X-Files?
Son of a bitch.
What is?
Huh.
Huh. It says this video is currently unavailable to watch in your location.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that weird?
What location is it available in? I mean,
What channel are you watching? You're looking at it on?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Yeah.
I was trying to see if they have a DVD of it.
And they have a 2-disc special edition, $90.
Okay.
Wow.
God, I really hope I can find my version because I do have it somewhere.
And then they got a Blu-ray for $130.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, whatever.
$12.97
Or you can buy one
here
new
in
from
Canada.
somebody else for $100.
Did you say $12.97, Pete?
Yes. I did say that. I was lying, but I said it.
Oh.
I was lying. I thought I could trust you, man.
Charles Nelson Riley and Brett Summers died the same year within like 6 months of each other.
Wow.
They should have buried them side by side, just like on
in a grid pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be
right.
appropriate.
maybe
With
maybe
Paul
little
Lynde.
walls, where you
Wall.
slide the casket in.
Yeah.
You could just do a 6-section area. You could have Brett Summers, Charles Nelson Riley, Richard Dawson.
Yeah.
And then for the other 3, you could just change them out every year.
Yeah, throw
A rotation.
a flag in there every now and then.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have to take
man.
Fanny Flag out. We got to put Betty White in.
You just make it completely airtight and just leave it glass at the top so you can look in.
Then have a really long microphone you can walk up to and like say,
Yeah, what was with that microphone?
It was very popular.
I know.
Match Game and Price is Right.
that was the best
Yeah.
thing.
It's like I'd be afraid I'd just poke myself in the eye.
You wouldn't even recognize Gene Rayburn without a long tube. And
Oh, man.
Oh, that's terrible.
who else was on it? Bert Convy was on there. He was
Yeah.
A used copy in very good condition of the 2-disc DVD is $206.99.
On eBay, someone has a buy it now for $50 with $7 shipping.
Oh wow!
not
Oh, I'm sorry, $7.01 shipping.
What?
701.
701.
I guess so. It's an even 57.
701.
Oh, look at this.
Oh my God.
Look at this. We are 45, 40 seconds
yeah.
short of
I guess
2.
we gotta wrap it up here.
Should we wrap it up? Thanks for joining us for the Rocky Night. There's a lot to talk about when you talk about Rocky. but not much to talk about when you're talking about Last Blood.
Last Rambo.
Stuart, you have
Last Blood? Yeah, Last Blood.
you don't have Hammers Way tomorrow night, do you?
I don't know. I might swing the hammer a little bit tomorrow.
Right.
If I do, it'll be something short and sweet. But then let's see. Next week is the 1st, right? So next Thursday, I have an interview with Mark Wood, who is he is a metal 7-string violinist. He is also the original Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He's formerly of that original group. And also, if you're a big fan of Twisted Sister or Dee Snider, back in 2005, he did an album and a live performance called Van Helsing's Curse. And I've got it on DVD, and it was right after the NAMM show. And I look, and the whole band that's doing all the music and orchestration back there for the show is Mark Wood and his band that I had just seen at the NAMM show. Yeah, so he is quite cool, and he's got his own violin, electric violin, that he's designed years ago, like over a decade ago, called the Viper, and it's a flying V styled electric violin. So
Very cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking to him next week. That's going to be really, really cool.
I know you've done some Tuesday shows. Normally it's Thursday, isn't it? With some Tuesday?
I'm trying to make Thursday the norm. It's just the last two, which I did a Thursday show last week, but yeah, these past 2 weeks, trying to get people on certain days, you have to go with what you can get. So, and I'm thankful for that. I thank all of the folks who have already talked to me, and all the folks who are, and so many of these guys want to return to the show.
Oh, that's cool.
So
That's
far,
very good.
yeah. So
Then,
we may have a movie night with Toby Jepson and Dave Kemp, because Dave is a huge. Well, Toby has been involved in some film projects, Gladiator, Sleepy Hollow, and others, but Dave is a huge music movie nut. He loves musicals and stuff. So
Now, next month, you're looking to do what's Pete showing here? You want me to add that, Pete?
Yeah, go ahead. You're talking about Dee Snider and stuff. I'll play this just for a second.
read it down. What is this?
Oh, it's a television.
That is crazy.
How did they get that on television? Do you have to have the IntelliVoice for that one?
This is called a mashup. Me taking some vocals from a vocals only and then putting over top of the Intellivision song, the music from the Intellivision system.
That's hilarious.
That's evil genius shit there, man.
I like the name on the screen. Not gonna ta. You're not gonna what? I'm not gonna ta. Or is it tay? I guess it would be tay. Not gonna tay. Not today.
That is pretty cool.
So we will.
That is cool.
There we go.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
So
Dee
probably a
Snider.
copyright strike over that now.
We're just trying to see who notices.
Yeah.
They do care about me.
Yeah, I might do a stream this weekend on a game. We'll see.
Yeah, we should.
And then Tuesday we're doing WrestleMania on Pete's channel.
Yeah.
Bar, did you ever watch WrestleMania?
No, I never did.
Are you not into wrestling at all, like the old stuff?
No. Well, at the Chase,
Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah, that was awesome. Wrestling at the Chase. I've told Pete about that. That was the local show.
Yeah.
That was so much
I
fun.
actually knew referee Peter. What was his name? Peter Riley.
Oh, I can't remember.
Remember? Sorry, I can't say I know him. I have met him a few times. My uncle was one of his good friends.
Well, remember Joe Graziola's brother, Mickey Graziola, was the ring
He was
announcer.
a ring announcer, and then it was referee. Damn, he was always a ref, right? I can't. I'll look it up.
I just heard that Big John Studd died when he was 47 from cancer.
Quite young. Yeah.
Isn't that how old Andre the Giant was too? Wasn't he in his like? He was around 47 or so, I think, wasn't he?
There's a new HBO movie about Andre Giant.
No, that's a great film.
Yeah. The one on HBO.
Yeah,
For sure.
Chuck O'Reilly was his name. Chuck O'Reilly.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so
Super cool.
born in
Dude.
46 and died 46.
Jeez. That was back. Wrestling Chase was back when they would have like one big match, and the rest of them would be like a star versus someone you never heard of.
Right.
Yeah. And the big guy in St. Louis is always Max Blue. He was the guy that took a beating every week from somebody. He'd come out. He was
Special Delivery Jones of the St. Louis area.
He would come out and he'd be like beating on the guy for the first 10 seconds, and then the next 5 minutes he would spend just in a ton of pain. It was beating him up till he finally gave up. It was hilarious.
He took a lot of metal chairs to the head.
Oh, if only I could find out where Max Blue is today. He may not be with us anymore.
Most likely not.
Wait a minute. Big John Studd came into a Popeyes with Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Oh my god!
What?
That'd be awesome. You're at a Popeyes. Here goes Big John Studd and Jimmy Snuka.
Superfly Snuka.
It's one of my favorites. We will be talking about him when we talk about WrestleMania because he actually was in it somewhat.
Oh yeah, he was. Both of them. They fought each other in WrestleMania. Jimmy Superfly, you mean?
Yeah, Superfly fought each other. Yeah, Superfly. He didn't wrestle, but he was there.
Wow.
Man, poor John Studd. All right, I guess that's it for tonight, guys.
I think so. Well, we covered Rocky pretty good. We didn't talk a whole lot about Creed and Creed 2, but I'll say I sat down to watch Creed tonight just to try to get it in. I had my shot. I had my first vaccine yesterday, and it kicked my ass today. I was sick all day.
A lot of people have been having that.
Yeah, I was okay. I went to work, and I didn't come home. I could do stuff, but I'd just be up and down. And I come home and took a couple Advil and sat down, laid down for a bit, just turned on a movie, and I feel good now. But just one of those things, I might take on it as just shows it's working.
Yeah.
Body's reacting, so that's good. That's what the body's going to do, right?
It is.
Anyway, I sat down and I watched the majority of Creed. And sometimes I wonder really why I haven't sat, I love these movies, so I've had all the opportunity in the world to see it and Creed 2, and I haven't watched them, and just sit down for an hour tonight, watch the first half of it, and go, why haven't I been watching these movies? Because they're good.
Someone earlier in the chat said that Creed 3, Sylvester Stallone has nothing to do with that one.
Somebody did. Was that you, JD, that said that?
It might have been JD.
Yeah. I haven't followed it, so I have no idea.
Huh. That makes me a little leery of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll still watch it.
So Pete, I take it that you liked let's see. I'm sorry, I saw something. Did you like Creed 2?
I haven't seen Creed 2 yet.
That's what I was trying to. You were saying you made it through about an hour of the first one.
Creed 1 today. Well, almost a little bit more than that. And I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's different.
I'll be eager to see what you say about the second one. So
Yeah, okay. Because I'm just looking at ratings now.
I saw both, and I actually liked number 2. I know you weren't a fan, Stuart.
no, I thought it was number 2 compared to number 1.
Really? Oh God, then I'm gonna love it.
Pete's like, shh, I have to go. I gotta skip the end of Creed and get right into Creed 2.
Now I'm really looking forward to it, man.
I think Pete and Stuart need to start a channel where you review movies together.
Yeah, just
That'd
like
be hilarious.
Siskel and Ebert.
Okay.
It's always going to be a split decision. We know that.
Why don't I just pop in on your show on Tuesday, on the every other Tuesday, and
There you go.
I'll just have a moment.
We'll do a 5-minute movie review in the middle. Just bring a movie in, and we just make sure we both seen it. And it's like, that sucks. I love it.
You know where that's going to land every time.
I know, but you can't help it.
My brother is that way. I mean, he would like purchase movies. I'm like, you bought this? I'm like, man, you love anything, and that's like Guy, my friend Guy. He and I can't talk movies either, because he just loves a movie for the spectacle.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I'm certain you two are a lot alike on that aspect.
I love B movies. Cheesy, chintzy, poor effects, people trying to make movies. I'll sit there and watch it. Some of the stuff I've watched is incredible, right? And some of it I like, some of it is just not worth watching. But at the end of the day, I watch a movie to see if I feel better after watching it, or if it makes me feel better after watching it. If there's anything about it. There you go. That's a ticket right there. Pete and Stu at the movies. We got to do that actually sometime.
It's got to be one of these though. It's like a.
Oh yeah. I've already gotten enough friggin' flack over the fact that hey, okay, I've watched you're on Papa Pete's Pickup number 88, and you started looking at a beer about every one since about 20, and we haven't seen you not like a beer yet. Well, I like beer, This isn't my favorite, but I'm going to drink it and I'm going to like it. I'm going to watch a movie like Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. If I'm going to sit there, I'm not going to shit all over it, because would I have preferred something better? Did I think it was kind of like, okay. But I liked the movie because it finished up the deal. It's over.
Yeah.
Are you saying, is it my favorite compared? No, I went to the theater and watched it. Was really glad I did. Really looking forward to it. Okay, it's over. Is it my favorite? No, but I like it, and I'm not going to say I don't like it.
Right.
But I like 7 of the included the other ones like Rogue One and Solo and stuff like that. I probably like 8 or 9 of them better.
Yeah. Yeah. Rogue One was awesome.
Yes, it was. Yep. I like Solo though too.
I was entertained by Solo.
Yeah.
Do I own it? Will I? No. I'll never own Last Jedi, and I'll never watch Rise of Skywalker. So
I wasn't real happy with Last Jedi, but I've watched it several times and I own it.
I wouldn't either, and I've probably seen it 4 times.
So
yeah, I just couldn't buy it.
I liked where The Force Awakens went very, very much, and then I sort of thought it lost its way a little bit. But
well, see, I thought we're supposed to be done.
I know.
I thought when Force Awakens came, I feel about Force Awakens like you feel about Rise of Skywalker. I was like, I just loved seeing it. Was it a great film?
Yeah.
No. Did I like all the actors? No. But was it fun? Yeah, it was fun. It brought back, characters I hadn't seen in decades. And, here they were now. We got a whole new thing going on. And that was fun. But then the Last Jedi came out, and that was just.
I will watch it, but the little part where they went to the casino spot and then ended up coming back and somehow made it through. I mean, that just didn't.
Well, what about the sister who was hanging out on the outside of the ship in the beginning? I'm like, how's she even alive? It's,
You mean
little
in the
stupid
Bombay
things like
door, you
that.
mean?
What's that?
In the Bombay door?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm like,
It
okay.
yeah. No, it wasn't good, but it was what it was, and it's what we have for Star Wars, and I liked it. So
Right,
I
which
mean,
is why
I would there could have been a lot better.
Oh yeah, which is why I won't even own it, because it's so outside the realm that you're just like, wow, I used to be able to care about these movies. And if the first three didn't, the episodes 1, 2, and 3 didn't already kill it, you're just beating a dead horse.
I like those too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
Anyway.
It's crazy.
Anyway, we dragged that on. So Pete and Stu left the movie.
That's right. I ended the show 5 minutes ago.
No, that was a dream, Jeff.
Bastard.
All right, Pete, you gonna take us out?
All right. Thanks for joining, guys. Go game gone.
Gone.
Hey, and thanks guys for being here, everybody over in the chat.